the conference, I didn't worry about the clothes. I just threw a bunch of stuff in at the last minute, and here I am. So I'm wearing a shirt that may or may not have already been worn once this week because one shirt left and it was too small. We're going to kick off this morning. We've got BookBub, Carolyn Robertson from BookBub, to talk about ads, featured deals, and those things that we care about to get our books in front of more readers. We're running 2 raffles because of the last minute Martha Carr breakout, which is also being live streamed. So if you're here, you'll be able to pull that one up later and take a look-see. Let's see if we have, and they will have a separate raffle up there as well, so we're not going to stiff anybody on a great prize. But let's see who in here wins. Must be present to win.
So bear with us this morning because it's a badge raffle, and clearly half the group are in a different room, so we may be pulling out their numbers, but they have their own raffle. They're not losing out. But for here, the badges in the room, today our prize is a paperback and ebook formatting by Kevin Summers, sponsored by Keystroke Medium. So is 067 in the room? Okay, we're going to go through it quickly this time because of how many people aren't in the room, so shout quickly or miss your chance.
Look at your badge now, make sure you got your number.
Sorry, if those who didn't hear Jennifer, look at your badge now, make sure you know your number. 692. This could be a while. 692? Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, well, probably 691 isn't out then either. $274. Oh, Lord.
He never gets on the free
483. $082.
There we go.
You have the winner. Thank you for your patience. We'll come down to you. Thank you very much. And again, chair sitters, the ticket under your chair, please only take the one you're sitting in. The rest will be used later on, and the chair sitters will be at the end of the day. Thank you.
The gold standard, BookBub.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for actually waking up and getting in here this early. This is fantastic. So I'm Carlyn. I'm part of the partners team at BookBub, and we're responsible for making sure that everyone has the information they need to work with us as effectively as possible. So making sure that you're aware of all of our tools, how to use them, and how to actually meet your marketing goals. But before we get started, I just want to make sure, is there anyone in the room who isn't familiar with BookBub and what we do? A couple? All right. So we're a marketing platform for authors. We have over 15 million readers signed up to our services, and we help our readers discover new books and new authors, and then help authors get their books in front of more readers. So today I'm going to be talking about 3 of our different promotional tools, featured deals and featured new releases, which are both curated by our in-house editorial team, and BookBub ads, which are available for everyone to use to promote any book at any time. I'm going to try to save some time at the end for questions, but if we do run out of time, I'm going to be hanging around during the break, so please come and find me if you have anything that you want to ask. And I'll also be around later today. We've got some time in the schedule where you can ask any of the presenters questions, so I'll be there for that as well. And also, I think Craig already sent around the slides, but I'm going to have a link at the end where you can access a downloadable PDF of everything, so don't worry about writing down what's up on screen. So we now have 2 different promotional tools that our editorial team's hand-selecting the books that are included. So the featured deals email is for discounted backlist books, and the featured new releases email is for brand new books. So featured deals is what most people think of when they think of BookBub. This is the tool that we launched with 6 years ago. It's certainly our most well-known promotional tool, and it's a daily email with discounted books targeted by readers' category and retailer preferences. So when you drop the price of your book and promote it to a really large audience of readers, you can generate an extremely high volume of sales and actually have a chance to get new readers to take a chance on your brand. So 95% of BookBub readers that we surveyed said that they bought a book by an author that they hadn't heard of before because it was discounted. So it's an incredible way to bring new readers to your author brand, build some new fans. So to have a book included in one of these emails, you submit it to us when you want to run a discount on retailers, and our editorial team reviews all of the submissions to select the books that they think are going to be the best fit for our unique audience of readers in every single one of our categories. So, of course, one of the biggest questions we get is how do you get selected? What does that process look like? Basically, because we have a limited number of spots in each of our daily emails, we keep it short to make sure that our readers stay engaged. We have to be really selective. So we get an average of 300 submissions every day. We can only feature about 10 to 20% of those. So it's definitely tough, but there are some things that our editors are looking for when they're reviewing books. So there are some minimum requirements that a book has to meet in order to be considered. These are around timing, the discount price has to be at least 50% off. You can find all of those on our website, but I think something like 95% of the submissions that we get meet those requirements. And once a book does meet the requirements, the next step for the editors is looking at the book's platform. So what we mean by that is everything that a reader would use to decide whether or not to purchase a book. So that includes the book cover, of course, the description, is it clear what the book's actually about? They're looking for any awards, author accolades, quotes from other authors that we know our readers like, critical reviews from publications our readers are familiar with, and reader reviews are really important. And we actually don't have any minimum review requirement. That's a rumor that goes around. But the editors are really interested in the content of your reviews. So what did readers really love about your book? If they gave a 1-star review, what were they frustrated about? Was it just not their cup of tea? No problem. Was it a bunch of typos and editorial mistakes? That's going to be more of a red flag for us. So the editors are really looking for what about this book resonated with readers, and do we think it's something that will resonate with our particular audience as well? So the next step, probably the most important one, is content fit. So this is checking to make sure that the book is a topic that our readers are going to be excited about. We have a ton of data on our readers' preferences. From the past 6 years, we track every single featured deal. We run a lot of A/B tests in our blurbs in those emails to get a sense for what inspires our readers to click. What do they respond to? What are they interested in? What are they going to purchase? And that, of course, sending our readers books that they really want to buy keeps them engaged, keeps them opening their emails, which makes every promotion that we send out that much more effective for you. So we really want to make sure that we're delivering them books that they are extremely excited about. And then once a book meets the minimum requirements, has a platform and content that we think our readers will be interested in, comes down to a final selection. This is probably the toughest part of the process because it's really just a comparison of all of the books that we have that we think will be a good fit and looking at the number of spots we have on our calendar. So usually a lot of the books that the editors are reviewing would be a great fit for our readers, would be books that they'd love to read, but because we have that limited number of spots, they have to make some really tough decisions here. So it usually is just a matter of a numbers game and there being other books that were a slightly better fit or we're going to work a little bit better at any given time. But there are some things that you can do to make your submissions competitive. First tip here is to be really flexible with your timing. That actually has nothing to do with what the editors are looking for, but because we have a set calendar, if your promotional plans happen not to line up with that, even if we've selected your book, if we don't have space during the time that you're going to run your discount, that's not going to work out. We do, of course, if you have particular promotion dates or a day of the week that you're aiming for, we always try to accommodate that if we can. But sometimes we do just have limited space, so this just ensures that everything lines up. You can also try submitting at different price points. So the editors look at free submissions and 99-cent plus submissions in 2 different pools. So if you've been submitting for one price for a while, maybe mix it up and try something different. There might be a very different submission pool. Maybe we've gotten more or less submissions in one bucket than the other. So you can definitely mix that up and try submitting at different prices. Another thing you can do to make your submissions more competitive is include as many regions and retailers as possible. So we have readers in the US, UK, Canada, India, and Australia, and they're purchasing books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, iBooks, and Google Play. So on any given day, we want all of those readers across all of those different platforms to get a book in their email. If we ever feature a deal that's just available in the US and Canada, our readers in the other international regions wouldn't get any book in that category. which obviously isn't a great experience for our readers. So we're really trying to make sure that they all get deals every day, which does mean that we prioritize books that are widely available, since that's going to be a better experience for our readers. But of course, that does not mean that if you're in Kindle Unlimited or your books are only available in a couple regions, that you're never going to get selected. Because that submission pool is always changing, the factors that sort of matter the most at any given time also change. So there are some categories that are heavily Amazon exclusive, and we do feature a lot of KU books in those categories. So it's definitely something that is important to us, but is not necessarily going to make or break submissions. And the last tip, which I know is sometimes frustrating to hear, but really is the best advice I can give, is to keep on submitting. So you can submit every book once every 30 days. It does not bother us if you submit that book every single month. The editors aren't going to get sick of seeing it. It really is the best way that you can have your book have the best odds of being selected to keep on trying. Because that submission pool changes every single time, the selection criteria is also always changing. Our readers' tastes change over time, so what they like 6 months ago might not actually be something that they're responding to as well today. And then the pool of other books that our editors are looking at is going to be different every single time you submit. So to keep going, keep submitting. I know it can be discouraging sometimes, but it really can be the best way to get yourself the odds of getting your book featured. Okay. So featured new releases is very similar to featured deals, but instead of being for discounted books, it's exclusively for new releases. This is our newest tool. We just launched it over the summer, and we're really excited about the opportunity to promote new releases to a much broader audience. So these emails are sent on a weekly basis. They're also targeted by category, which means that each featured book is sent to all of the readers in the US right now signed up to a particular category. And unlike featured deals, these books can be full price. So we've actually sent out books priced anywhere between 99 cents and $14.99 in these emails. And our readers are buying books at $14.99. A lot of people think that BookBub readers are exclusively bargain readers, but I think we're selling tens of thousands of full price new releases every month between this tool and some of our other new release promotional tools. So BookBub readers, they do love a good deal, but they're definitely willing to invest money in a book that they're really excited about as well. So there's a similar selection process here. Because it's upcoming releases and we don't have as much data about reader reviews and how readers are responding to a book, the platform and content fit are sort of an even more important part of this process. But it's always a really holistic process, what our editors are looking for. They're weighing a lot of different factors to try to find the books that they think are going to be most successful with each of our unique audiences in the categories. So if you have an upcoming release, you can submit it up to 6 months in advance for this tool, and all the way up to the release day. So if you're doing a live launch, you can still submit your book on release day. And in this case, books are eligible to be featured in the 2 weeks after their release. So you submit it while it's on pre-order or right when it's launched, and we always send it out to our readers once it's live. So in terms of the sort of comparison process and calendar space, in this case, you're competing against the other books that are in your genre releasing around the same time. So with featured new releases, we actually have 3 tools that are dedicated just to promoting new books at this point. So we have pre-order alerts, which are a dedicated email to your followers on BookBub. They're only available if you have over 1,000 followers right now. But we also send a new release alert on launch day, and that's available for everyone, completely free, no matter how many followers you have. You could have 3 fans on BookBub. We will let them know about your new book. So all you have to do is make sure that you've claimed your profile, add your book so it's in our system, and our team automatically reviews that, and we'll send out that email to all of your followers. And then the featured new release is a great way to reach a larger audience, so expand beyond your own fans, reach an entire category of readers. And then BookBub ads you can run throughout the launch period, so while your book's on pre-order, during release week, and afterwards as well. Okay, so let's dive into BookBub ads. This is the most flexible promotional tool we offer right now. Again, because it's completely available to everyone to use for any book. And it's a self-serve auction-based ad platform. So all the campaign details are in your hands, which means that there are a lot of decisions to be made in order to make these campaigns really effective. So I just want to break down some of the decisions that you face when you're setting up an ad campaign and share some tips and best practices on using BookBub's platform, which is a little bit unique and different than Facebook ads or AMS ads. So who in the room actually has run ads on any auction-based platform before? Not just BookBub ads. Okay, and then who's actually run BookBub ads? All right, a little bit less of you. Good. Hopefully this will convince you to give them a chance. So it's a self-serve auction platform, but unlike some of the other platforms where you have ads appearing while readers are browsing on a website, these appear at the bottom of every one of our emails. So whether it's the featured deal email, a new release alert, we send out blog posts that have different lists of books as well, and any email that goes out to our readers has a dedicated spot at the bottom for a single ad. So when you are bidding on impressions, what you're bidding on is one opened email or one BookBub reader's eyes on your ad. And this is a really fantastic tool because you know when your ad is getting shown to a reader that they're a reader. They're opening their emails, they're interested in books, they are actively signed up to BookBub, they want to find new books and purchase new books. So it's a really fantastic and engaged audience for you to be promoting to. And unlike the curated tools, there's no minimum requirements here, there's no selection process. We do have some advertising policies, but in terms of the types of books you can promote, it's really anything. So novellas, even audiobooks and paperback books if you wanted to, could be discounted, could be full price, could be a box set, really anything goes. You get the chance to really define a narrow audience, which we'll talk more about in a second. And you have total control over your budget and bid. So you could have a total budget as low as $1, as high as a couple hundred, a couple thousand, and you can bid on clicks or on impressions. So a couple different options there. Bidding on clicks gives you a little bit more control over your costs, and bidding on impressions sort of guarantees a wider reach and broad exposure. So what can you promote with BookBub ads? Again, because it's really flexible, you can set up ads to start immediately, you can schedule them for the future, you can run them every day on an ongoing basis, so you can accomplish a lot of different things. Some of the most common things that we see authors doing with this tool is promoting new releases, promoting first in series is a really excellent strategy, promoting discounts, of course, box sets can be really effective in this space, and full price books as well. All right, so you've got a couple different targeting options here. So first, you can target our readers by the regions and retailers that they're in and that they use. And BookBub Ads is actually one of the few platforms where you can target wide readers really specifically. So when you target Kobo readers, you know that you're reaching an audience who actually purchases their books on Kobo. So it's a really powerful tool if you're wide or if you're doing any retailer-specific promotions. And of course, if you're exclusive to Amazon, we actually see a lot of people putting available in Kindle Unlimited in the ad copy to make sure that you're getting to readers who that's going to inspire them to click as well. You can also target by our readers' category interests, but the most powerful option that you have here is the ability to target by similar authors. So this gives you the chance to reach fans of your own fans, fans of other authors who write really similar content, which is an extremely powerful and narrow targeting option. And we consistently see that the ads targeted by similar authors have much higher click-through rates than ads targeted just to an entire category. I think it's really tempting to say I want to reach every single BookBub reader who's signed up to science fiction, but because the advertising space is different than a featured deal, it's not going to have the same effect as if you're running that featured deal. So getting a little bit narrower is usually going to get better engagement and better results for you for these ads. So this is actually an A/B test that I ran for one of my colleagues' books. She let me do some marketing for her, which was great because I got the data that I could share with you. But when we targeted this to her genre, which was new adult romance, we got a 0.14% click-through rate, which is not very good. And then we narrowed it down to 8 comp authors who appeared in her also bots on Amazon, and that click-through rate jumped up to 1.67%. So if you're interested in a high click-through rate and engagement, choosing some really great comp authors is definitely the way to go. So how do you choose which authors to target? You can target yourself. So unlike Facebook, where it's a limited number of authors that are available as targets, pretty much any author who has an ebook and has a platform on BookBub is targetable with your ads. So if you target yourself, that reaches not only your followers on BookBub, but actually anyone who's clicked on one of your books before, whether that was in one of our promotional emails, if they were browsing and they came to your profile, if they added one of your books to their want to read list. You can target all of those people with BookBub ads. So it's a wider audience than just your followers. A lot of authors are looking at their also bots on retailers, both on an author level and on an individual book level. And this, of course, you want to tailor by retailer. So if your books are in KU and you're targeting Amazon exclusive readers, you want to make sure that you target authors who are going to have fans that also fall into fans that are going to be purchasing on KU. And if you're wide, you want to make sure that you target authors who are going to have wider audiences as well. You can ask your readers who else they read and which books remind them of yours. I've heard that that sometimes generates surprising ad targets that can be really effective. And you can also browse on BookBub. We actually have lists of popular authors by all of our featured deal categories and a number of additional subgenres. I think we have like steampunk, techno thrillers, small town romance, so it gets a little bit more specific and a lot more than just that. And so this is a great way to browse authors who have a large following on BookBub in your genre, who write really similar books. And you can also search for any author to see how many followers they have and try to tell if they have an audience on BookBub that's going to be large enough for you to target if they're a target that you use on another platform. All right, so image design. So your ad is a 300 by 250 pixel image. There's no additional text other than what you include on that image. And there's a couple elements that we frequently see in ads that have high click-through rates. So the first, make it really clear the genre and mood of the book that you're promoting. So you only have a couple seconds of time to grab a reader's attention when they're scrolling through their email. It should be immediately clear what type of book you're trying to get them to click on. Readers usually know exactly what they want, and of course your cover should do a lot of this work for you. Your cover should be really, really clear what type of book it is, what genre it's in. From just one glance, readers should be able to tell. And similarly, because you've just got a couple seconds to grab attention, keep your ads really simple, keep them legible, make sure that the font is easy to read, that there's high enough contrast between the font and the background image that it's on. Try not to keep it too cluttered, just a couple key elements that are really gonna grab attention. We see a lot of ads using the book cover, either in its entirety like this one here, or using an image from the cover as the background in the ad. I've heard a lot of conflicting opinions on which is better, both for clicks and for conversions, and I would say definitely test it out yourself, because it can vary by genre, it can vary by book. We recommend including a call to action, which is that little red button that says start reading. It's not a functional button, it's just a visual aid, but telling your readers whatever action you want them to take, if it's read now, learn more. I've seen some where the ad copy is a question and then the call to action is a response, which is kind of fun, so you can get creative with it. But including something that actually prompts readers to click can increase click-through rates. And then the best tip that we can give for creative is to run a lot of tests. We're always surprised by what we see resonating with our readers. There are ads that don't meet any of these recommendations that still have high click-through rates. So make sure that you know for your own books and for the audiences that you're targeting, actually take the time to get the data to figure out what's going to work best for you. So a couple examples of some other tests that I ran for this book. So I spent $10 per test here. I used a $10 CPM bid, which is on the higher end of our range, bidding on impressions. And I served over 1,000 impressions for each of these in one day. So that was enough for me to get some results here. But that first one had the 1.67% click-through rate. The ad in the middle dropped down to 0.84%, and the one on the end was 1.9%. I was actually pretty pleased with that last one. I've heard a lot of authors say they aim for around a 2% click-through rate on BookBub ads, and I know that's a little bit lower than some of the other platforms and what you're aiming for, but I have heard that BookBub typically has higher conversion rates. That's not something that we're able to measure. We're not tracking sales, but as long as you are complying with terms of service, you're welcome to add your own affiliate codes to your ads to be able to track that yourself. And before I tested the different image designs, I actually started with 5 different blurbs on that ad with the blue background. It's really important to write a strong hook that's going to incentivize readers to click, particularly if they're readers who haven't heard of you before and your name isn't going to be enough to draw them to take a chance. So you've only got a small amount of space, you want to use it really wisely. But there are a couple things that we've seen that can count as a hook and get readers to click on your ads. So the first is a deal price. Readers love a good deal. A trope that appeals to your ideal reader and your fan base can be a really strong hook. Quotes from other authors or quotes from reviews can work as hooks. And comparing your book to other books, TV shows, movies can also work really well. So I'll go through some examples of ads that use each of these strategies. So deal price. Obviously, BookBub readers signed up to BookBub in most cases because they wanted to get deals on books. So including a deal price in your ad can generate really high number of clicks. And the lower the deal price, the higher engagement you're going to get. For our featured deals, we see 11 times more downloads for the free deals than the 99-cent deals. And I think 75% more engagement for 99 cents than $2.99. So even a little bit of difference in price can make a really big difference in how many readers are going to engage with your ad. And this one with the shirtless cowboy says nothing about the book. It just says it's free, but it's really obvious that this is some sort of small town romance. So we know the genre, and we've got that hook there. So tropes are another thing that we see, again, in our featured deal blurbs, can usually lead to an increase in clicks. And it depends on the particular trope. Obviously, that's something that we run a lot of tests on to figure out what our readers are responding best to. But it's something that can work really well in ads. Again, readers know exactly what they're looking for, so tell them that you're going to deliver them exactly what they want. So on the end, we've got Not Like Any Other Best Friend's Brother story, which is a very common romance trope. In the middle, we have a cozy mystery for readers who like dogs, food, and recipes, which is pretty much the holy grail for cozy mystery readers. And on the end, we have one man, two sets of marriage vows, bad math, so a love triangle. Quotes are another thing that can be a great hook. So again, something we tested in our featured deal blurbs. We saw a 23% increase in clicks if we included a quote from either an author or a well-known publication, compared to no quote at all in the blurb. And if you have a quote from an author, that's going to drive more engagement. So we see 30% higher click-through rates when quoting a well-known author over quoting a well-known publication. And of course, the recognition of the author name does make a difference here, but if you have a great blurb from an author, you can target their fans with that ad. We've got a lot of data that our readers, I think 76% of our readers buy books based off of recommendations from authors that they love. It's a really powerful driver for them to take a chance and purchase something. So if you can show evidence, hey, an author you liked my book, that can be something that really can drive a lot of clicks and get readers to take a chance. Right, and comparisons are the last hook here. So 26% increase in clicks in our featured deal blurbs when we included a comparison to another author, another book, movie, TV show. You can get creative here. Readers are doing a lot more than just reading books. They consume a lot of different types of entertainment. So we've got a great one here. It's like Firefly with wizards. What else do you need? I love Firefly, so I loved this ad. And we also have, if you like Stuart Woods, you'll love Blake Banner. And this one I think is a great example because it's extremely clear that this is an ad for a Blake Banner book, not a Stuart Woods book. If you are going to use a comparison, make sure you're not misleading your readers because they will let us know. If they've clicked on an ad and they think it's for one thing and it's something else, that is a really terrible experience for them, and you'll probably have lost that reader. So make sure that you're not misleading, you're clear what you're promoting, and be accurate with your comparisons as well. You want to treat your readers right and not try to mislead them just for the sake of getting clicks, because ultimately the goal is you want that sale, you want to get a long-term fan. Okay, so the last thing I want to emphasize here, particularly for BookBub ads, is that the BookBub Partners team is a resource that you all can use. So this email, partners@bookbub.com, will always get you a real live rep who can answer any of your questions about your ad campaigns. They can actually take a look at your campaigns and offer feedback or advice. They can help you figure out which of our tools are going to make the most sense for you based on what your marketing goals are. And we also have a blog with a ton of marketing resources, so it includes case studies, strategies that other authors have used that have worked really well, data on our readers and our trends. So if you're interested in learning more sort of tips that we have on marketing, check out insights.bookbub.com as well. And I think we've got hopefully a couple minutes for questions. Yeah, great. And then this is the link where you can access the slides and, of course, the email again as well.
Some good insight there. Check out those slides and don't hesitate to get in touch with them. And if you see Carolyn standing around in the industry representatives area, that's the back wall, stop by and say hi. Next up, there's no time for questions. No. Next up, Nicholas Sansbury Smith. Talking about his journey from being a Fortune 100 CEO to, okay, no, that's a different dude. You guys defeated me this year. I had a great plan, I thought, and I didn't have the foresight to see that most people would count on the live stream and then go to the breakouts, because I didn't insist on the two biggest breakout rooms. They were available. I thought, oh man, last year we had one that was mostly full, and the other ones were pretty good. But this year, they're racked